Today, in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Newsgaon से संवाद सारोकार News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today our topic is role of youth in judicial system. True freedom requires the rule of law and justice, and a judicial system in which the rights of some are not secured by the denial of rights to others. The judicial system is the most expensive machine ever invented for finding out what happened and what to do about it. The fundamental problem is that there is no credibility in the judicial system, which is a system that's been completely politicized. This is retaliation and selective repression. No corruption unless the judicial system is corrupt. The Indian judicial system follows the common law system based on recorded judicial precedents as inherited from the British colonial legacy. The court system of India comprises the Supreme Court of India, the high courts and subordinate courts at district, municipal and village levels. Hierarchy of the courts, the Indian judiciary is divided into several levels in order to decentralize and address matters at the grassroots levels. The basic structure is as follows. Supreme Court, it is the apex court of the country and was constituted on 28th January 1950. It is the highest court of the appeal and enjoys both original suits and appeals of the high court judgments. The Supreme Court is comprised of the Chief Justice of India and 25 other judges. Article 124 to 147 of the Constitution of India lay down the authority of the Supreme Court. High courts are the highest judicial body at the state level. Article 214 lays down the authority of high courts. There are 25 high courts in India. High courts exercise civil or criminal jurisdiction only if the subordinate courts in the state are not competent to try the matters. High courts may even take appeals from lower courts. High court judges are appointed by the President of India upon consultation with the Chief Justice of India, the Chief Justice of the High Court, and the Governor of the state. District courts are established by the state governments of India for every district or group of districts based on the caseload and population density. District courts are under the direct administration of high courts and are bound by high courts judgments. Every district generally has two kinds of courts: civil courts, criminal courts. District courts are presided over by the district judge. Additional district judges and assistant district judges may be appointed based on the caseload. Appeal against district court judgment lie in the high court. Lok adalats, village courts, these are subordinate courts at the village level which provide a system for alternative dispute resolution in villages. Tribunals, the Constitution provides the government with the power to set up special tribunals for the administration of specific matters such as tax cases, land cases, consumer cases, etc. Appellate jurisdiction refers to the authority of a court to rehear or review a case decided by a lower court. In India, appellate jurisdiction is vested in both the Supreme Court and high courts. They may either overrule or uphold the judgments of lower courts. The first jury trial decided by an English jury in India happened in Madras, now Chennai, in 1665, for which Asenta Davis, probably a British woman, was charged by a grand jury with the murder of her slave girl, and a petty jury with 6 Englishmen and 6 Portuguese found her not guilty. With the development of the East India Company Empire in India, the jury system was implemented inside a dual system of courts. In presidency towns, Calcutta, Madras, Bombay, there were crown courts, and in criminal cases, juries had to judge British and European people as a privilege, and in some cases, Indian people. And in the territories outside the presidency towns called Mufsil, there were company courts composed with company officials without jury to judge most of the cases implying indigenous people. After the Crown Government of India Raj adopted the Indian Penal Code 1860 and the Indian Code of Criminal Procedure 1861, amended in 1872, 1882, then 1898, the criminal jury was obligatory only in the high courts of the presidency towns. Elsewhere, it was optional and rarely used. According to section 274 and 275 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, the jury was composed from 3 for smaller offenses judged in session courts to 9 for severe offenses judges in high courts. When the accused were British and European, at least half of the juror had to be British and European man. The jury found no place in the 1950 Indian Constitution, and it was ignored in many Indian states. The Law Commission recommended its abolition in 1958 and its 14th report. Jury trials were abolished in India by a very discreet process during the 1960s, finishing with the 1973 Code of Criminal Procedure, which is still in force today. The 8-1 acquittal of Kavas Nanavati in KM Nanavati versus State of Maharashtra was overturned by higher courts on the grounds that the jury was misled by the presiding judge and were susceptible to media and public influence. A study by Elizabeth Kolaski argues that many reverse verdicts were delivered by white juries in the trial of European British subjects charged with murder, assault, confinement of Indians. Post-independence, the Ministry of Law and Justice at the union level is responsible for raising issues before Parliament for the proper functioning of the judiciary. The Ministry of Law and Justice has complete jurisdiction to deal with the issues of any courts of India, from Supreme Court to subordinate and executive courts. It also deals with the appointment of judges of the High Courts and the Supreme Court. At the state level, the law departments of the states deal with the issues of high courts and the subordinate courts. The Constitution provides for the single unified judiciary in India. The relation between judiciary and Constitution is that Constitution empowers judiciary to act as the guardian of the law. Therefore, in common language, one can say judiciary is itself a constitution, but this does not mean that the court have unlimited power, because in India, the doctrine of constitutionalism is also applied. However, there are a number of provisions which specifically deals with the Indian judiciary role, power and function, and appointment of officer. The career progression of a judicial officer can reach up to the Chief Justice of India. However, till now, no judicial officer has been elevated to this level, but a few have made up to the Judge of Supreme Court. The judicial officer starts her or his career as a judicial magistrate, first class, in the cadre of civil judge, junior division. The candidates are also appointed on the post of district judge, entry level, directly from the bar through the same competitive examination, but with a condition that they must possess 7 years of practice experience in any court of India. The post of judicial magistrate second class is considered a probation or training post, and after completing the training period, they are posted as judicial magistrate first class. Unlike the civil service officers, the judicial position is mostly a field position. For better and wider experience, a large number of deputation posts have been created for the lower judiciary to the higher judiciary officers. In the beginning of their career, they are not placed on deputation, but after a few years of courtroom experiences, then they are placed on deputation as per requirement. After spending more than 5 years in junior division, one is eligible to be promoted to the rank of civil judge, senior division. The first National Judicial Pay Commission, NJPC, was founded that due to the slow promotion process, many officers retire before attaining the upper stage of judiciary or are stuck long in the same cadre, whereas the provision was that an officer eligible to get elevated after 5 years of experience in that cadre. With the suggested recommendation by NJPC, the Assured Career Progression ACP scheme was introduced for the subordinate judicial officer to assure them career prospects if there is delay in promotion. According to it, there is delay in the promotion, then after a span of every 5 years of service in respective grade, they are entitled to draw first stage of ACP pay scale for next 5 years, means their pay scale automatically increase and subsequently follow second ACP if another 5-year lapse crosses, which is equivalent pay to the next promotional post. The same methodology is applied to the district judge level also. After completing the required years of service in the senior division, the High Court, with the consent of governor of the respective state, they are promoted to the cadre of district judge entry level, that is additional district and session judge as per vacancies. When the judges in the rank of DJ are also vested with the administrative power, then they are called as principal, district and session judge of the respective district. The officer of junior and senior division are under the general control and subordinate to district and session judge and also to CJMs. ADJs are under the general control of respective high courts. They are also vested with special power as they are also vested with special power as a special judge or magistrate to deal with particular or specific matters, like to deal with railway magistrate, CBI judges, or magistrates, etc. Generally, judicial officer who started their career late as judicial magistrate first class have low chance of being promoted into the cadre of high court judges, but if they join the services in early, have high chances to upgrade higher. However, there are 60% of the post of high court judges are filled from the subordinate judiciary. But due to very stiff process for the appointment as high court judge, it takes much time. However, there were few judges who were also promoted to the Supreme Court of India, like Prafulla Chandra Pant. Most of the judicial officers appointed directly from bar in the cadre of district judge, that is higher judicial service, have high probability to reach up to the high court, and if the service remains, then even up to the Supreme Court. With the purpose of enhancing the skills and outfield experience of judges, they are also deputed in various departments, or ministries of state and union government with consultation of respective high courts. In state, many positions are created for the judicial officers ranging from the level of deputy secretary to principal secretary of states. Also, they are posted in union ministries in the level of deputy secretary to government of India level. They mostly sent on deputation in the high courts and Supreme Court. In equivalent positions exist for the civil service officers in ministries as per pay scale. Not limited to only that post, but there are many more deputation posts constructed accordingly with the judicial ranking on a temporary basis. Similar perks allowance applicable to the other members of civil services. And the role, now the topic today is the role of youth in judicial system. We have 6 youths with us and we have our chief guest with us. I would like to invite and introduce our chief guest. He is Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma. Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma is a leading lawyer of Western UP with more than 41 years of practice. He is regularly appearing in Supreme Court and different high courts, including Allahabad, Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, Andhra Pradesh high courts. He is extensively practicing constitutional, civil, and taxation matters. He is also rendering social services. He is Secretary of Kans Nikandan Trust, Mathura. He is Founder Secretary of Civil Lawyers Forum and President thereafter. Welcome, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma on our show. Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, you have heard the report which I read about the judicial system in India. Now, the question is, what role the youth can play? So we would like to know from you the role of youth in judicial system. Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, please.
Yeah, Mr. Goyal. First, I would like to appreciate your effort to give an exposure to the youth of our country to come on screen and to express their views. This is very rarely being done, and it is a very good opportunity for our youth. You have read a report, and the report was naturally with regard to the judicial system. But actually, your report was with regard to one part of the judicial system, that is the judges' side. The bigger part of the system is the lawyer side. In quantity, and I will like to say in quality also, the lawyer side don't you cannot say that because of I am lawyer I am saying like that. It is a fact. Judges are also saying like that. The quantity and quality of the this part, that is the lawyer side, is much more better than the part of the service side, that is the judges side. It's a huge quantity, a large number of lawyers are there in the country. And generally, youth gets a good exposure in lawyer side, and a lesser quantity gets an exposure as the judges side. Coming to the topic, our judicial system is also known as justice delivery system. Mainly, this system is having two components, that is the judges, as you have said, or the judicial officers, whatever name may be given, and second is the lawyers. As the bigger part is of the lawyers, so generally this system is being recognized by the lawyers. Definitely, the judges are having powers and giving delivery of the judgments, that is there. But it is the lawyers class who are giving the proper material, facts, and law to the judges to decide the cases and to assist the court to reach the justice. The profession of lawyers or advocates, the Advocate Act came into 1961. Thereafter, we have started to say advocates. Prior to that, lawyers were there. So the profession of the lawyers and advocates is being called a noble profession. And initially, the lawyers were being recognized as the leaders of the society, as well as they were presumed to be the intellectuals and gentlemen of the society. Our movement of freedom was mostly led by the lawyers. You must have named all the, generally more than 80% of the leaders of the movement, they were lawyers. A very limited, at that time, a very limited law colleges were there in the country. And generally they were in the big cities or beyond the limits of our country. So many of the leaders have gone to have a degree of law to London, and a bar at law degree was being provided at that time. Generally, the affluent class of the society was the student of the law colleges at that time. It was not available to the general population. The standard of legal education and the legal profession was also very high. Same way, the standard of the judges was also very high. Together with the degradation of the society as a whole, the standard of judicial system also gone down. This happened just after it started to happen after about 70s. Anyway, when this national law colleges were established, then there a change in the legal education started. But prior to that, as law colleges were opened in all the cities and towns, but these law colleges could not maintain the standard of legal education, and it directly hit the standard of the judicial system in its entirety. When these national law colleges were started, so there is a nationwide competitive examination for admission. That is also a better thing. Then the course is a 5-year course, and by this course, a 1 year is totally saving by the youths. Otherwise, first we have to have a graduation degree for 3 years, thereafter LLB degree for 3 years. So 6 years are being used previously. So now 5 years are being used. In this 5-year course, nowadays, the students are being provided a better and high level education, including a practical knowledge of the working in the courts. That was not there previously. So by this system of education, now whenever an student is completing his degree of law, he becomes capable to practice law in a court because of he is having already an experience how the matter is to be presented before the court. He has been taught all these things in the court itself. So this has raised the capacity of our youth to represent their clients before the courts immediately after getting the decree itself. And the standard has also gone high to the prior time. I would like to say from 2000 at least, because of this National Law School College system was introduced in 88 and its result started in about 2000. So since thereafter, after 2000, the standard has gone very high. Now, all these law colleges have been established all over the country. And seats are also very much for getting the admission. And generally, the aspirants are getting the good students, they are getting the admission there by having a little knowledge of law and other things. Our today's youth is more expert in conducting the cases than the previous one. I can say at my time, when we got the law degree, I completed the law in 1979. We have to take at least 2 or 3 years just to know the way of conducting the cases in the courts, because of at that time, whatever is being done in the court of law, that is not being taught. Only the acts were being taught, that's all. So when a person is getting the degree, he is coming to the courts, he has to learn afresh the working and functioning and manner of the courts. So that takes at least 2 to 3 times. This time is saving nowadays, and the students are getting more opportunity. In this new system, by way of mute courts and all these things, the hesitation of the students washed out at college level itself. That is also a good thing. So now our youth is competent enough to raise the standard of the judicial system, and we expect so also. As you have also said with regard to the one side, that is the officer side or judge's side, I am saying with regard to the other side, the scope of judicial work has also gone very high. Every bank, every insurance company or other companies, they are having their own legal department, and chances are there to have an appointment there. So many law firms are there in our country. They are also regularly engaging the new ones, and the opportunity is also there. Together with the time, hundreds of new tribunals have been established by the government. All these tribunals are giving opportunity to our youth to practice law at there. So these all the new opportunities which were not available about 20 or 20 years back. Only courts were there, but in between this time 20 or 20 years, a new scope has become there. So there is a much scope for our youth to do something in this law field. This legal system not only gives money to our youth, but it also gives a reputation in the society. Sky is open to them, and they may fly to whatever height they can. In this profession, one can go to any extent of height by way of his or her wisdom and labor. The judicial system has so many levels, I am saying with regard to the lawyer side, from Tehsil or Taluka level to Honorable Supreme Court, district level, High Court, in between. So many tribunals are there, so many other junctures, like nowadays, the administrative authorities are also doing the function of judicial side, that is the revenue matters. They are being done by the revenue administrative authorities. In all the states, the revenue matters are being decided by the revenue authorities, and that is also having a big scope for the youths to practice law before the revenue courts, district court at revenue officers, then commissioner level, commissioner, then board of revenue at a state level. That is a separate branch totally, and big scope is there. Actually, this system of law is waiting for our youths. The role of our youth has expected to be very high in this system because of whatever degradation came down in a few years back. Now it is to be cooped up by the youths of our society. This is, we expect from our youth that they will fill up the lacunas and do much more better than the previous times. The future of every country is always based on the shoulders of the youth. Likewise, the future of judicial system is also based on the shoulders of our youth. Our youngsters are capable to take this system at this juncture itself to 22nd century. They are capable to do so. They are having the wisdom. They are having to do capacity to do the labor. They can do so. The youths are expected to play a big role in the judicial system in their future. They are expected to remove the lacunas which coop up in the last time. The youths are also expected to change the present judicial system, and particularly so that they can minimize the justice delivery system and its time. That is a very important aspect of the judicial system, because of nowadays and since long, the justice delivery system is taking very much time. And the proverb is that the justice delayed is justice denied. So this illegality, I would like to say, have to be cured. And now this illegality can be cured by our youth, by way of their wisdom, by way of checking the misuse of process of law. This can be done. And this can be done with both sides, either as a judicial officer or judge, or as an advocate or lawyer. The youths are expected to minimize the time in justice delivery system. And if this is being done by our youth, that shall be a very big achievement for our country, and it is very much expected for our youth. That's all.
Thank you very much, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, for giving the guidelines how the youth can change the judicial system in a better way. Although what Advocate Sharma said is that already lots of changes have come for last 20 years, which the earlier there was no such exposures of the practical of the court proceedings, while now there's mute court proceedings which are taking place in the college level, giving the exposure, giving the technical know-how, craftsmanship of the youth to know, understand how to argue and how to make one the petitions, etc. And he also said that the youth can play a very, very important role for the to see to it that the justice delayed is justice denied should not be there in India. Although I would like to add that as of now, almost 4.5 crore cases are pending in Indian courts. We have approximately 20 lakhs advocates in India, while in USA, 13.5 lakhs advocates are there, and USA is 1/6 of our country. So one can imagine the scope in this profession is too high. Now, giving to the reply what Advocate Sharma initially mentioned about that, I have not mentioned about the advocate side because I was knowing that our chief guest is going to speak about the advocate side. I have to present for the other side. Otherwise, it will be a very, very time consuming if I would have spoken about that. Thank you very much, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma. I'm sure your such type of wisdomful thoughts will definitely give a new guidelines to those who wants to become the advocates, who wants to join this line, or those who are studying and those who wants to be the advocate, that how an advocate can earn a good name, fame, by knowing the knowledge with the law as well as the practicing how to do the practical knowledge. Thank you very much, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, once again. Now, I would like to invite my youth guest. My first youth guest is Miss Aisha Farheen. Miss Aisha Farheen, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in judicial system. Miss Aisha Farheen, please.
I would like to introduce myself to everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine and safe and healthy. So my name is Aisha Farheen. I'm from Bangalore, Karnataka. I'm pursuing my bachelor's in commerce at Mount Carmel College. And I would like to give my views on this topic by starting with a quote that the world's biggest power is the youth and the beauty of a woman, quoted by Chanakya. And in a country like India, we all are so immersed into environments where social injustice happens every hour. Like to say, every minute there is some or the other social injustice happening, and it doesn't shock us anymore. We are all so used to so much bad happening that it doesn't shock us anymore that we take an action unless and until it happens to us. Sometimes when this social injustice happens to us, even we are shut, we keep our mouth closed. So which is very wrong. We just come to a comfortable bubble telling that, oh, it's India, things like this happen here. So which is completely wrong. Youth is the backbone of the society. Youth is the future of the society. Thus, it is very important for youth to be involved in judicial system. It is very important for us to know about our laws so that we have an idea about what are our duties, what are our rights. So even if there is any violation or any atrocities happening, we, like they say, a person with knowledge and wisdom is the most powerful person. So when we have knowledge about our laws, when we know what is our duties and our rights, we can voice out. We can talk about the injustice, the bad things happening. And thankfully, we are born in an era where social media is the limelight. Using social media as a tool, we can influence the other youth. We can make sure that we voice out our opinions. Obviously, not everyone is comfortable opening a camera, clicking a video and talking about it. But at least we can write it down. We can just write out whatever our views are towards the injustice happening. And everything that is said on social media is never left unheard. So we can work towards efficient execution of the judicial system. And as the young generation, we are the future of our country. So we should make sure that we keep ourselves updated about the new laws that has been passed, about the amendments taking place in different acts, different decisions taken by different types of courts, and all of these things. We need to keep ourselves updated so that we have knowledge about what are the things that are happening in our country. And just because we are not coming from law background, or we are not pursuing lawyers, it does not restrain us from obtaining knowledge on these topics. We should ensure and make sure that we try our level best to gain knowledge on all these topics, because that is our responsibility. And India being a democratic country, definitely we select our leaders, we vote for our leaders, but our duty does not end there. Just voting and selecting our leaders, our representative, does not end. We should make sure, we should have a check on them. And we should make sure that the laws and the different kinds of decision that is passed is in the best interest of the people. And I would conclude by saying that we need no one's validation. Unless and until we are making even a little bit of difference in the society for something good, we need no one's validation. So we have to be brave enough to put our voice, to raise our voice out there for something that for the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aisha Farheen, for giving your very, very strong views. And what she said is very right. And I would like to add, yes, youth have the power. And today's youth, as our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, has also mentioned, that today's youth is more enlightened than the youth of earlier time because of the social media, otherwise also the other media, electronic media, because you are updated what is happening everywhere. And once you are updated, it's a social obligation, your duty of every youth to see to it that no injustice should be provided to anyone. And that's what Ms. Aisha has emphasized, according to her, that we must see to it that everyone should get the justice. I will only add one thing. When she spoke about the social media, yes, the social media is a tool which youth should use, because that is the best tool, but it should be used properly. It should be used in a way that it should not harm others. If you are using the social media, if you want to see to it that anything in any injustice is taking place, it should be spread everywhere. First check whether this particular thing is there or not, whether this particular happening which has happened is really happened, or it's just a fake news. Because if we will try to do something which is not existing, it's again an injustice. But anyways, thank you very much, Ms. Aisha Fareen, for giving your very, very strong views. And I'm sure the youth of the country, if they have such type of views, then more enlightenment for the judicial system will be there than what we were having even at present now. Thank you very much, Ms. Aisha Fareen. Now I would like to invite my next youth guest, and she is Ms. K. Stuti Baliga. Ms. Baliga, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, as well as earlier youth guest. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in judicial system. Ms. K. Stuti Baliga, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, respected Lal Goyal, sir, Honorable Chief Guest Ramesh Kumar, sir, and the very talented and passionate youth guests present in this wonderful event. At the very offset, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for giving me this present opportunity to be on board and showcase my views on this very appealing topic. The enchanting roots of the mesmerizing Indian history.
First, you just introduce yourself, Ms. Baliga.
Yeah. My name is Kesuti Baliga, and I am studying in grade 10 in Madhav Kripa School, Manipal. And my interests are politics, and also I'm a mental health advocate. I practice writing as a coping mechanism to deal with the thoughts that I get. So I think I'll be very happy to present my views on this very topic in front of you people. So the enchanting roots of the mesmerizing Indian history run deep in the rich soil of India. A country once known for its richness and the prospering economy is now in the hands of the 1.8 billion youth in the country. We can rather say that India is a very young country. In a country known for its largest democracy, it's obvious that politics runs in the nerves of the country. A political system shrouded with meritocracy and dynastic affiliations creates a mindset in the youth of not showing interest in the current political affairs and not showing interest in the laws that is passed by the judicial addiction in the country. I'm sure we all must have learned about the three branches of the government when we are in 8th grade or some in the lower classes like that. And let me quickly recall its legislative, executive, and judicial. Judiciary is known for its independence, independence and in taking the reviews. It's not influenced by any political parties, and it's completely independent. The first two filters that it should go through are indirectly or directly elected by the citizens of the country. India is glorified for its political ideology and democratic roots that originate way back when the prosperous land of India was trapped in the clutches of British rule. That makes our sole responsibility as the youth of such prestigious nation to uphold the best interest of the public and participate and contribute to the lucrative development of India. Before moving to my next point, I would like to recall an incident that happened few days ago while I was having a casual conversation with my very good friend. A political matter or like a law passed recently came up. And when I was reading the headlines that popped up as a notification on my phone, she was like, let's talk about something else. And that, I started to reflect on that particular incident. And I thought of how ignorant we can be on such issues where we are reluctant to present our opinions because we fear that we will start, developing a toxic relationship with them and it can hurt our friendship or something like that. So it is these substantial differences that create a lack of political awareness among the youth. When we voice out our views on laws passed in the country or injustices done in the country, our duty as a citizen is done justice to. Voting might seem mundane and less exciting for many. Let's admit that, right? But obviously, voting is a vital part, primitively a very vital part of building a democratic nation. But there are also many other ways to engage in democracy. Let me give some underrated facts about the youth participation in a democratic country like India. In addition to free and fair voting, we have the right to speech and expression. And I'm sure all the minds have this here present here have the zeal for to change the world around them. The youth guests present here and myself for that fact belong to a generation that embodies connectedness of ideas of innovation is reinventing politics. The youth has the dynamic control of sculpting the mindset of the world at the fingertips of their hands. Well, it's the phone. Influencing people with personal opinions, participating in political demonstrations are the prime examples of youth getting engaged. Personal challenge. Can you hear me, sir? I think I was.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry. Pressing challenges like gender discrimination, climate change, etc., have been getting a lot of limelight from the youth, and the process of all these issues are in of getting eradicated from this world. During unprecedented times that we are living in, we can see a lot of pressing challenges around us: shortage of oxygen, elections being conducted. We recently saw the violence in Bengal that happened because of the Bengal election. There are so many, pressing issues around the country, and still we are reluctant to talk about these laws passed because we are scared that we will be targeted for it. But let me tell you, social media can have a lot of drawbacks, but in the present day issue, the social media is giving all the people a platform to raise their opinions and contribute to the development of this country. Also, as a youth guest, I would like to motivate you all to do whatever you all can to present your views around the topics, because we are politically enlightened. Even though we don't have the voting rights, like if we are below 18 years of age, when we are politically enlightened about the laws passed in this country, we are also we are raising the chances of having a government that India deserves, and India will prosper with it. To sum everything up, we need to examine how youth and politics understand each other. Feeling misunderstood or not catered is not an excuse to make your voice heard. The moment you participate in some sort of alternative political behavior, you bring your mindset into the limelight. India is progressively developing and rapidly increasing its status around the world, with or without you knowing it. To rejuvenate the spirit of young India, it's totally up to you to decide whether we have the perseverance, courage, and capability to showcase our views to the world. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stuti Baliga, for giving your views. If a young girl like you, if you are giving such type of views, one can imagine the potential the youths are having today. Because what you have mentioned is very right, that the youth should understand what is happening around the world or even in your country. If we are aware about that, and if we feel there's some injustice is taking place, we must start venting our opinion, frankly, without bias, but it should be there. Otherwise, what is the use of the awareness what we are creating in this time? And that is why I must say that your views, which are very, very forcibly you have put, is such a view which reflects the aspiration as well as the opinion of the present youth, how the youth wants to come in the mainstream as soon as they become 18 years or above, so that they can change the world whatsoever is happening around us. Thank you very much, Ms. K. Stuti Baliga. Only I will say that you must see to it that you should not be carried away with the fake news. Only those news which are correct and which you feel that they can do something, where you can do something. I can even advise you that right now, if you are not going for the big political things. Even a small incidents are happening around your locality, in your city or your state. Even if you see to it, it should be highlighted in a proper way. Like you have mentioned about the oxygen short supply. Yes, if youth will be worried, if youth will take such type of initiative, and they have done. In India, we have seen that how the youths have come forward. They have started they have made the sites, the WhatsApp groups where they were helping across the India. And I'm sure where if the government fails, but the youth of India has not failed, and they have worked day and night to see to it that so many lives have been saved. Thank you very much, Ms. K. Stuti Baliga, for giving your very, very strong views. Now, I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he is Mr. Rahul Sharma. Mr. Rahul Sharma, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, as well as earlier youth guest. Now, we would like to know from you your views on the role of youth in judicial system. Mr. Rahul Sharma, please.
Myself, Rahul Sharma. I'm basically from Rajasthan, but I'm living in Gujarat, Jamnagar. Right now, I'm pursuing BSc final year. First of all, thanks to beautiful the community for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I'm really feeling blessed and wonderful to be part of it. Today's our topic, role of youth in judicial system. Sounds like a very sensitive topic, but in today's learning, let's make it not make it complicated. Let's make it easy to learn it well. So we will divide two sections here. First, to understand what is youth. Later on, we understand what is judicial system. So youth is one of the most important, the great asset for a country. They are the future of the country. Nation building is equally important to building of a youth. So because they are our future, they are our success path, they are the building blocks of any country. They have a great energy with great enthusiasm. They have the potential to perform on the big stage. They adapt the environment very quickly and learn the things very quickly. So if you want to improvement in your country, youth played important. It doesn't matter which field you want to go, whether it's technical, mechanical, education, sports, or judicial system. In everything, youth important. The problem is we didn't inspire the youth, we didn't encourage our youth. So the question is how to help the youth and how to encourage our youth. So for that, you have to understand the little things. It's not a single person duty to inspire the youth. It's every citizen duty to inspire the youth and to motivate them. And we are continuously doing a big mistake that we are continuously discouraging our youth continuously. We didn't motivate them, and this result they lost their spark. So equal opportunity should be provided for each and every youth icon. It should be beyond all the caste, creed, gender, favoritism, nepotism. These kind of words should be not in the dictionary of a youth. So as I say earlier, I will say again, youth are the nation of the power building. So now we understand what is judicial system. Judicial system. Judicial system is the third organ of any government. The object of the criminal policy is to reduce crime and increase the public security. Public prosecutor, judge, court, investigation coming in judicial system. Social media played an important role in youth in judicial system. Nowadays, we're watching our people, whatever they got, they just directly share on their social media account. So, but it's a good move. But there is always a two-sided coin. There are some positive points and there are some negative points in this way too. But most of the time, we will say positive points. By this process, the people will get easily aware from the things what is happening in their country. So it is a very good move. But what's the problem there? The biggest problem in our country, there is no punishment for lie. पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन केस को करती है, फिर वो ट्रायल कोर्ट में होता है, चार्जशीट फाइल होती है, वो केस दोनों पक्षों को सुनता है, लेकिन विटनेस हॉट सेल हो जाता है. इट मींस विटनेस चेंज द स्टेटमेंट क्विकली. वो पुलिस को तो कुछ बोलेगा, लेकिन वहां पे जाके अपना स्टेटमेंट चेंज कर देता है. दैट माय क्वेश्चन इज, इफ वी कैन कॉपी स्टार्टअप फ्रॉम अमेरिका such as Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, we can copy judicial system from America, where the statement should be not allowed. अमेरिका में ऐसा कोई भी रूल नहीं. अमेरिका के अंदर चाहे वो प्रेसिडेंट हो या कितनी बड़ी पोस्ट पे क्यों ना हो, अगर आपने पुलिस को कोई स्टेटमेंट दे दिया है तो फाइनल रिकॉर्ड में स्टेटमेंट हो जाता है. अराउंड 100% 90% केस अडेप्टेड ड्यू टू स्टेटमेंट ऑफ स्टाइल. So if we want to change this, we should change this. So for that we can make a citizen report card. In that we will give citizen to report or to fill the report as per the service they guide. Service such as public transportation, the public network, and many more. So at last I want to say, with every little thing we have to be together. हमें ऐसा आज से नहीं करना है कि मैं अकेला क्या कर सकता हूँ. हाँ, मैं सब कुछ तो नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन मैं कुछ करके बहुत कुछ कर सकता हूँ.
And you have made a very good point. You said that everyone should be aware, and all the youth should see to it that other youth should also be aware. And that is a very, very important point, that if the youth will take a decision that like for the legal thing or the what's happening around the country, if they will see to it that others are also aware, so then the scene will be changed. And one point which Mr. Rahul Sharma has mentioned about the US legal system, according to him, that once a accused has given any statement in front of the police in USA, that statement he cannot change, and that it will in India it is very different, because in India generally the witness changed or the accused changed the statement which has been given in front of the police. But there are reasons for that, because many times it happens that the police extract the statement under the pressure, coerciveness, etc. But for that, I am sure when the concluding remark will be given by our chief guest, he can highlight more, because it's a legal thing which he will mention what is the situation in US and India. I'm not an authority to talk about that. But yes, if our youth has now taken up this issue and they feel that we require some judicial reform, that is a very, very important aspect. If the youth has started feeling pinching that when the witness become hostile, the criminal case or the any other case flattens. So this is a very, very big change, because if youth will decide and they will make a point that no one whosoever is giving a witness or something or the accused, they should not change their version in court. But that is only possible if everywhere there will be no corruption and the police also do work fairly, not on the behest of some interested parties. That is also a role of youth to see in the judicial system, that no one should play a role which will be harmful for the society at large. And that's why initially I mentioned one thing very clearly: no corruption if the judiciary is not corrupt. So if the judiciary will become corruption free, then there will be no corruption in the society. Thank you very much, Mr. Rahul Sharma, for giving your very good views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and my next guest is a final year student, although she will mention herself because she is from the she's studying law. So I'm sure that her views will be different than the views of the youth, because she knows the law when she's on the 5th year of the education. I would like to invite and introduce, she is Miss Rashmi K. Malia. Miss Rashmi K. Malia, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, and earlier youth guest. Now we would like to know from you role of youth in judicial system. Miss Rashmi K. Malia, please.
Namaskara, everybody. I'm Rashmi Malia from SDM Law College, Mangaluru, currently in final year BBA LLB. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, Global TV, for giving me this opportunity to express my insights on the topic, that is role of youth in the judicial system. Well, we are talking about one of the most important organs of the government, that is judiciary. In my opinion, even if the rest of the organs, that is executive and legislature, fails, judiciary will still stand strong, because judiciary is based on the object of providing justice irrespective of age, race, creed, religion. So in this system, we as a youth have a role to play. So I'm gonna quickly tell few of the ways that I feel is relevant to evolve the system. Number one, that is through compliance. For in this context, I would like to explain by taking the subject of environmental law. The adjudicative body for deciding the environmental cases is NGT, that is National Green Tribunal. In most of the cases before the National Green Tribunal, the tribunal lays down certain guidelines which are binding in nature, and most of the time it is overlooked. So as a youth, we have the right to complain when incidents of, for example, public nuisance occurs. Maybe you find someone disposing of waste in the public place. So you have the right to produce those guidelines that were laid down in the prior cases before the NGT, when the enforcing authority fails to impose those guidelines. Number two, that is creating awareness about the alternative remedies that are available. So here I'm talking about in the context of outside court settlement, that is in the civil cases. I would like to mention about paralegal volunteers here. District legal service authorities are more than happy to train youngsters like us to be equipped with the basic legal knowledge so as to deal with the petty disputes. I could explain this better with an example. That is, for example, you may come across a shopkeeper and consumer having a tussle over a very petty matter, maybe something regarding past accounts. You, as a paralegal volunteer, can help them come to an amicable settlement. I'm stressing on this outside court settlement is time and money is very valuable for both the parties and the judiciary. And in the matter of judiciary, the time is very significant. In this context, I would also like to mention about ADR mechanisms. That is, one of them is mediation. Mediation is highly recommended for matrimonial disputes. Uh, Again, the emphasis is on the alternative dispute resolution is because it is always suggested that first exhaust all the available remedies that are there and then knock the door of the judiciary. It is both for the convenience of the parties and the judiciary here. The next one, that is uh, promote faith in the judiciary rather than undermine it. So we have come across a lot of hate speeches against judiciary. Uh, I'm sure everybody is aware about the Prashant Bhushan's comments on the ex-CGI of our Supreme Court. So I believe we as a youth, instead of creating hate, we have to protect our judiciary from the external negativity. Since judiciary is expected to be independent here, and it has to operate without the external negativity. And also, number 4, that is creating awareness about the technological aspect in the evolvement of judicial system. There are a number of online dispute resolution tools. I believe it's a very sustainable tool, and it has to be utilized to its fullest, because again, it's time and money that is valuable. The last one is uh, my most favorite, that is encouraging youth to join the legal profession. So I'm very sure you all the youths present here might have heard a lot of myths around the profession, but you have to be in the front line to evolve the system, and this can be done by great research, great skills. That is, it could be in drafting or oral argument. From the front line, you are in a better position to provide your views regarding how you want to evolve the system and also point out the loopholes there. So, finally, I would like to conclude by saying that our actions, practices, and our faith will define the generations to come. So, we have to be wise with whatever we are doing right now. Even if the executive and legislature fails, judiciary will still stand strong as it is based on the will of the people.
And what she said, I would just like to add few things. She mentioned about the mediation, as well as for the compromise, as well as the settlement. Yes, that's why the judiciary has set up Lok Adalats, where they are doing these types of things. But if youth of today will decide and they say, why not all these petty matters which are been creating a dispute even in your own family, if you will start solving them, if you become the party, you become the involved yourself, and you say, though, if there is a dispute among in your own family or in your on your society or in the community, if you will start playing as a mediator, it will help like anything. Like she has mentioned about the matrimonial cases. Now, matrimonial cases, everybody knows that it starts with some misunderstandings. So if the youth play an important role, then it can be done. That is one important aspect. Second, what she said is, she says that if youth wants to do something to make a radical change in the society, they must join the legal profession, or they should join the legal courses. Yes, if you feel sometimes, if your blood boils for seeing some injustice is taking place, only venting out your anger only on the social media will not work. Because the full knowledge is required. The half knowledge is very harmful. So what Ms. Rashmi says, that please join the legal course, take the degree. Whether you want to practice or not, that is a separate thing. But yes, if you will have complete knowledge, then you will be more effective for enforcing your views, which are in the favor of the society. Thank you very much, Ms. Rashmi Malia, and all the best for your legal profession. I'm sure that if the youth like you, as our chief guest advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma has mentioned, if they will start learning from this time only while they are studying, then definitely when they will go to the courts for actual practicing, they will not face problem. As our chief guest has mentioned, that he took 2 to 3 years just to understand the working of the court. Thank you very much, Ms. Rashmi Malia, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Mr. Shivam Shah. Mr. Shivam Shah, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, as well as earlier youth guest. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in judicial system. Mr. Shivam Shah, please.
My name is Shivam Shah. I am from Gujarat. I live in Patan. I am a student of MBA program of Ganpati University of VM Patel Institute of Management at Kherwa. Today, I am going to discuss about what is the role of youth in judicial system. It is a very important part. Now, some children and youth become involved with the juvenile justice system because they are accused of committing a delinquent or criminal act. Other youth come into contact with the system for status offenses, actions that are illegal only because of a youth age, such as truancy, underage drinking, and running away from home. During a single year, an estimated 2.1 million youth under the age of 18 are arrested in the United States. Overall rates have been declining over the past year. Approximately 1.7 million delinquency cases are disposal in juvenile justice system. The primary goal of the juvenile justice system, in addition to maintaining skills such as development, habitation and rehabilitation and treatment needs and successful reintegration of youth into community. There are 4 categories of youth system. First of all, individual, group supported, situational category, and organized. Age of criminal responsibility, the children under 10 are considered not have reached an age where they can be held responsible for their children, where they can be held responsible for their action because they are under the age of criminal action and they cannot be charged with any criminal offenses. There are some decisions to prosecute youth children. First of all, refer back to the police for further investigation. Second one, case to court. Third one, going to a youth conferences. And fourth one, diversionary disposal. A young person may be referred for prosecution for offenses when they have committed a serious offenses. In the last few years, it is also observed that the crimes done by children under the age of 15 to 16 have increased significantly. The general tendency or the psychological behind the commitment of the crime or the cases crime are early life expensive. So dominant the upbringing, economic has lack of education. So that's why जो यूथ है वो हमारा फ्यूचर है, ठीक है. तो यूथ को हर एक चीज का पता होना चाहिए और उसको यही उसको ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि अपना जो फ्यूचर कैरियर है वो कैसे आगे जा सकता है. थैंक यू सर.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shivam Shah, for giving your views, and you are given a different dimension of today's discussion. You have discussed, and it's a very right approach of you that you have discussed about the juvenile cases. Yes, in India, the cases are rising like anything because generally the youth below the age of 18 or 16, they are running away from the home to become an actor or actress, or they are doing some petty thieves, theft, etc. So for that, we have a Julian laws. And according to you, what you have mentioned is very rightly that we must create the awareness so that the youth should not commit those types of things. And the report which it says that up to in 2018 only 31,591 crimes were committed by the Julians. This is the report by the NCRB for the year 2018. And the 19% of the cases are accounting only in Mumbai, and Mumbai is the Bollywood. So from all over India, the youth runs to Mumbai just to become a hero or heroine or actor or actress. Now, this trend has to be changed. And for that, the social awareness is required. If the youth will take that this motive of them, that they will educate, enlighten the younger siblings, or they will do the peer mentorship to others, that running away, going to Mumbai to become a actor or actresses, or committing some small thefts or doing something which is illegal is going to create a big problem. Right now, as a Julian, the punishment is very less, but punishment is punishment. Once a small child or a child below 18 or 16, if he or she will be sent to a Julian home, definitely the mental impact will be lifelong. So it is always better not to commit any crime whatsoever. Never try to take law in your hand. You have a very good tools of social media. You can vent out your anger if it is really valid, but don't try to take the law in your hand. Then definitely the role of youth is very, very important. You can peer mentorship. You can tell the person who is frustrated, who wants to go, because generally the youth talk with each other and they tell them that what is happening. So there, the youth can play a very, very important role. Thank you very much, Mr. Shivan Shah, for giving your views. And I'm sure the youth will understand the very severity of this. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite my last but not the least youth guest, and she's Miss Simran Nagwani. Miss Simran Nagwani, you have heard our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, as well as the earlier youth guest. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in judicial system. Miss Simran Nagwani, please.
Reality is that our independent judiciary is the most respected branch of our government and the envy of the world. Hello, good morning, Lal Goyal sir and our honorable guest Rakesh sir and all our youth members. My name is Simran Nagwani and I am from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, pursuing an Master in Business Administration from Noida International University. So first of all, I would like to thank Lal Goenka sir to giving me the opportunity where I can share my thoughts on role of youth about judicial system. According to me, there is a two judicial system in our surrounding. Like first and foremost, judicial system created by our government, and second, judicial system created by our panchayat in our rural area, whether that is worth or not. But still, some rural area are following a panchayat judicial system, and that is not good way for justice. So, but our government judicial system. So first of all, we as a youth have to revoke that panchayat judicial system and follow only one judicial system that is created by our government only. So why judicial system is important for youth? Importance to connect youth of judicial system, that is India has a population among them majority are young people. If we talk about India as a country has a lot of potential, so we have to use that potential wisely, and how we can do that. We as a youth has to understand the judicial system, because the proper role of judiciary is one of the interpreting and applying the law, not just making it. As we all know, the judiciary is the system of court and adjudicative legal dispute and interprets, defense, and applies to the law. legal cases. But the primary goals of the justice system, in addition to maintaining public safety, are skill development, habitation, rehabilitation, addressing treatment needs, and successful reentry of youth into the community. In practice, there was always a tension between social welfare and social control, that is focusing on the best interest of the individual child versus focusing on punishment, incapacity, and protecting society from certain offense. This tension has shifted over time, has varied significantly from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, and it remains today. Unfortunately, nowadays, most of the youth are addicted to the social media and they don't know about current law or justice system. Like if somebody posted something on social media related to offensive, whether they are correct or not, but we support that person and the one news go viral and crisis go on. But apart from this, our youth are knowing about judicial system from social media and influence to people to give right information. I think it's important for us as a society to remember that the youth within justice system are most of the time youths who simply have not had the right mentors and supports around them because of circumstances beyond their controls. We believe it is important to educate our youth about the judicial system from a positive point of view. And also, most of today's youth are aware about judicial system because youth are going to be entrepreneur, and and an entrepreneur and the legal system are intricately intertwined. The judicial system is critically important to business. Having a fair and efficiently legal system provides a stable climate to in which business can flourish. So we can say that youth is aware about it. So we believe it is important to educate our youth about the judicial system from a positive point of view. And we have to say that the government has taken the requirements of judiciary seriously, and we hope positive development. So last but not least, my message to all youth that let's take a knowledge about judicial system with judicial system of humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Simran Nagwani, for giving your views. I would just like to highlight, because you have given two very, very important points. First was about the Panchayat judiciary, which otherwise we say Khap Panchayat. Now, what Ms. Simran, you have mentioned very clearly that instead of Khap Panchayat, we must believe only in the judiciary, which is set up by the government of India, or the Supreme Court and the High Court and the judiciary, not in the Khap Panchayat. Because many times it was seen in that the Khap Panchayat give some rulings which are illegal, unethical, and that's why those rulings are being enforced, and it creates a lot of problem, and especially to the youth. So it is always better to believe only in the judiciary system which is prevailing in the country. And for that, the role of youth is very important. If they all will decide that we are not going to accept any ruling from the Khap Panchayat, rather we will believe in the judiciary system, then definitely the time can be changed and the law can, the illegalities can be removed. Second point which you have made very important is about the intricacy of businesses as well as the judiciary, the judicial system, the legality. That is very, very important, because the youth who are entrepreneurs, who are going to start the business soon, they should know what are the legalities systems in India, what is the judiciary system, what is the judicial system. Because if they are doing something, they must understand if they will do anything illegal, there may be lots of hurdles, punishments, prosecutions. Because of that, their little knowledge. And the law is very clear. No knowledge is not a crime. It's a crime. Whether you know it or not, you have to understand. You should, if you are going to start any business or you are going to do anything, first you should know the law and then only do the things, so that you will not commit anything wrong. And that is very, very important for all the youth to understand. And that's why you please, before doing any business, or even if you are doing the service, you must know what are your legal rights, what are the thing, and what are your liabilities also. It's not only the rights only, you should know what thing you have to deliver, so that the company, if you are working in a company, that the company will also face no problem, as well as you will also not face any problem. And for that, the youth should be aware about all these things, which I am sure, because we have already done a discussion on POSH, which is very much required today, that all the youth should know the provision of the prevention of sexual harassment in workplace, so that tomorrow, if anything goes wrong with anyone, you can create the awareness and see to it that the culprit can be booked without any problems. Thank you very much, Ms. Simran Nagwani, for giving your views. So today we have heard everyone. Now I would like to go back to our chief guest, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, to take his views, how he saw the youth who have given their views, in my opinion, very, very positive views, but expert opinion is always an expert opinion. So now we will take his concluding remarks for the youth. We have about 5 minutes for that. So over to Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, please.
Yeah, Mr. Goyal, I am confident enough that the future of this country is quite safe. Our youth is very expressive. They are having specific views on the specific topics. They are not hesitating, and they are coming forward for their rights. Aisha has rightly drawn the attention with regard to crime against women. This hesitation, much part of this hesitation has gone. Whatever is remaining, this should also go away. And if anything wrong is being done by any women, she should complain definitely, so that the wrongdoer may be put to the law. I will highly like to appreciate K. Stuti Baliga. She is just an student of 10th standard. Though she was a little out of topic, but her views on politics, democracy were very much expressive, and it is enlightening the youth. An student of class 10th is having such a remarkable views. This is quite good and gives and creates a confidence that definitely our future is bright. All other participants also have definitely expressed their views with a good confidence, having a positive views. What Simran Nagwani has said with regard to that Khap Panchayat, you have also said, this Khap Panchayat is absolutely illegal. They cannot be tolerated at all. But another part of this Panchayat justice is also there. In every state, there are Panchayat Raj Acts. In UP also it is there. And it gives it right to the Gaon Panchayat to make a judgment in the very petty criminal and civil matters. That is a statutory provision. But this provision is never being exercised. Because of local politics of the village, these Gaon Panchayats are never doing the judicial work. Legally, the judicial work is provided, but it is not being done at all. What is being done? What Nagwani has said, that these Khap Panchayat, that this girl is there, this boy is there, hang them, this all is absolutely illegal. They have been vested powers in the very petty matters, but not all for all these big things. They can only be done by the regular courts. So they are exceeding the jurisdiction, and this is absolutely illegal. So, Mr. Goyal, I am quite confident that our future is bright. Our youngsters are having very nice views. They are expressive, and they are confident also. That's all.
Thank you very much, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, for giving your views. And the views which has been expressed today by all the youth clearly shows that the today youth wants to know what is happening in and around the country. Now, that is very, very positive aspect. We understand when we were young, very few of us were interested to know what is happening. Otherwise, the majority of the youth at that time are not interested to know. They are either interested for the cricket, what is happening in cricket, etc. Because at that time, we can't blame the youth, because there was no communication what we are having today. We were very, and there was no social media, no electronic media, only one radio was there. Otherwise, there was not even the Doordarshan at our time. And that time also, the youth were but try to raise their voice. Otherwise, if youth has not raised the voice, we would have not got the independence. Today, you all know how we got the role has been played, very, very important role has been played by the youth to get this independence, which we are enjoying. And the reformed, everything which has been taking place, the legal or the judicial reforms have been taking place, although we are now more than 73 years old democracy, but still lots of judicial reforms are required. For that, youth has to play a very, very important role. Because if you will come forward and you will say that these laws are obsolete, these laws are not for the benefit of the society, definitely the government of the day or the judiciary has to listen. As many of your participants has mentioned about this thing. And as our chief guest has mentioned very, very clearly, the youth of this time, this era, is far, far more enlightened, more dashing in the for the previous time. So I am sure that this youth, as our chief guest advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma has mentioned, that the future is very bright. But only thing is, you should be on a right track with a positive mind frame. And if you are positive, definitely the day is not far where those lacunas which we are facing in the society can be reformed legally within the judicial framework, within the same judicial system. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Newsgaon se Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you everyday new topic. But for the last 1 week, we are doing an evening program, which is in Hindi. It's a half-an-hour program where we invite one of the chief guests, and the guest will be telling about his own life or her own life, the past, the basic education from where, and the present, and they have reached on a height. So they will unfold their own life journey. And today, for the Kal Aaj Aur Kal Lal Goyal Ke Sang at 4:30 p.m., our chief guest is Dr. Mukesh Sharma, former Director General, Film Division of India, former Additional Director General, Doordarshan, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. So please tune in today at 4:30 p.m. for Kal Aaj Aur Kal Lal Goyal Ke Sang to watch this show. Thank you very much, all the youth guests who have come today and giving their views. And thank you very much, Advocate Ramesh Kumar Sharma, our chief guest, for giving such an inspirational, motivational, wisdomful thoughts, so that the youth who have participated in our program and who are viewing our program and who are going to view afterwards also will be benefited, that how the judicial system can be more strengthened by the youth, which is very, very important. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Keep watching. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.